Hey, what's up? So I just wanted to talk about Epstein a little bit. Give my thoughts on why I think it's kind of weird and ridiculous. So I think it's a distraction. To me, it seems very clear and obvious. It's a distraction. I do have notes to remind myself of thoughts that I've had because my thoughts will be like, "Wee," right? Anyways, um, it reminds me. It takes me back to like Desert Storm. I remember, but I don't remember all the stories specifically. But I remember like there was so much going on. Like the big major topic. Also, weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction, Desert Storm. These were something that just the regular people, it was all they talked about, and it was nothing deep. It was just like, here's this war and here's weapons of mass destruction. That was the topic, right? It was just all people would talk about. No real details and nothing about all the other stuff that was going on at the same time. And that's what this reminds me of. It is especially strange, and the only reason I wanted to even talk about it a little bit is because it's it's been discussed a lot in independent media for what I've seen for the past 5 years before it got into MSM. It's been a crossover with everything else. People also talked about the Ghislaine Maxwell and like being convicted or whatever, but like for nothing, for trafficking to nobody. Like right, like that was a funny meme that came up. So that's been talked about, and I'm sure it's been talked about even longer. I mean, there's people have brought back up the VH1 documentary or whatever that's called about Epstein from a long time ago. So it's an old story, kind of like all of these things. When I remember when I first started seeing like Palestine, when I first saw that this stuff about Israel and Palestine goes back 100 years, and I was like, well, then why should I care now? Doesn't mean things aren't happening now that I don't know anymore. I don't know what to believe anymore. If you were here with me in the early when I first went down the rabbit holes, you'll know how much that affected me. It destroyed me. It destroyed me. So, but now I'm kind of, I guess, I don't know. It's weird. I have forced myself to see everything as a lie. It's easier to cope, I guess. That's, right? Um, but and I finally have reached the point as well as I didn't think I'd be laughing at this stuff, and now I do. That is the strangest and messed up thing. But it's mostly when you do really see the lies and the ridiculousness of it, especially when they contradict themselves all the time. It can be funny. It's not. I still think that thing where it's like it's not funny because like people believe these things, right? And that's where it's not funny. It's like, man, this is some crappy stuff. But I've been out of that mentality for a while now. Yeah, so it's weird. It's definitely weird. I don't feel the same anymore. Like now I just laugh it off in a minute. I don't like that that's what's happening, but it's better. It's better than being really broken by it. That's for sure, I guess. Anyways, so the Epstein stuff is it's just as soon as I saw like it's all anybody's talking about, not just the independents who have been talking about it for multiple years now, but now it's mainstream. Now it's normies, and it's everybody. Like I'm seeing channels recommended on YouTube that I've never heard of before, but they're big channels. Like I'll go look at their gamers too and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is all right. I like, and so it's strange. I'm not, I'm not gonna say like that makes it fake or anything. I remember, a lot of the history I went through was these people, and a lot of it was following the money, which was pretty crazy because I didn't mean to do that, and I ended up doing that. And they are all connected. So the main reason that a lot of this kind of pisses me off, as far as like the way it's being covered now, and now it's like normal people are talking about, it's just like this is just the weirdest thing that makes me think, okay, this is bullcrap. Number one, there will be no accountability no matter what, and if there is, it's going to be nobody's. Right, like they'll pin it on like one or two people, whatever. If any real accountability, this is the thing for me, if any real accountability were to be even had, all of them, every single politician, every single MSM reporter, they'd all be in prison, and it would have happened years ago. And it's the same thing of like from a long time ago, man, like the weapons of mass destruction and stuff like that. And I think they even busted like a couple people back. I don't remember. Um, but there is that whole, I think wasn't there like a trial with Colin Powell or something? I can't remember. It was a long time ago and I'm like, whatever. But I do remember trials. Like there were trials, right? But it was scapegoats basically. Even if they were a part of it, everybody else is also a part of it. So it's like, okay, I'm glad they caught this one person and not all of them. Sure. Anyways, so one of the things that I thought was interesting is like, you have the even like the COVID stuff right now, right? Like now that's the opposite discussion has been happening in mainstream, right? But it's the obvious like loonies and the ones that people are made to hate, kind of, right? Like this is just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, or even Tucker Carlson. It's regular controlled opposition. That's what it is. That's how I see it, anyways. I would like to be wrong. I would like to see that these people have changed their minds. I don't believe it, mostly because like it reminded me of everything I saw as a kid. Didn't get deep into, but I remember it. I remember like it's so much stuff good. It reminds me so much of right now, man. It really does. You got these like fake trials, these fake like, oh, how dare you things, going on and stuff, and like it's not gonna matter. It's just a show. It's a distraction from all these other laws they're passing by. Like, I mean, we have the normalization of the social credit score coming, and I remember when I first heard of that, I thought it was funny. I was like, whatever, kind of a thing. But that is an actual normal thing that's working into the system. It's coming. The forced government ID for everything, or a facial scan, facial recognition being normalized. And the funny thing is, I want to make it clear, I'm not scared of any of these things. Like, none of this stuff scares me. I do think it's bullcrap, and I do understand that there's a bigger picture connected to it, and it will get bad. It will. There's no good of this. That's not going to be a good thing. It's just like many things where, like, first it starts as an option, and then the option is gone to updates, and now you only have the new normal. Previous options are gone. You no longer have the option. Now you're forced into this, and that's just how it works. That's the slow process of these things. So there's that, the normalization of the digital ID, the digital currency. We'll see how that goes. Like, I'm not even. It's funny to see the president of the United States, right, selling Bitcoin, selling his own Bitcoin, kind of thing, right? Like, that's just fun. It's ridiculous. I can't remember that happening before. Maybe it did. I mean, we've had like they've sold gold and stuff before. Like Trump isn't the first one to have like paraphernalia, selling stuff like that. but the Bitcoin stuff is kind of newish, kind of, especially as like a president selling his own currency. Like, does that make any damn sense to you? Does it? Does that make sense to you that the president of the United States is selling his own currency, right? Like that's some funny, trippy stuff. That's like, okay. Anyways, some people will point out, as part of the conversation is in the independent. Well, I only watch one channel basically now. They have multiple guests from different shows that I have watched in the past, and I stray a little bit here from time to time. But I just got sick of everybody being fake, because they are. They're all fake, man. But anyways, part of the conversation for why this stuff is happening, and like, what exactly is good? Like, why are they doing this? Why, like, this is crazy. Like, it's seriously crazy. Like, if you've seen any of it, it's freaking, it's like, what the hell? Right? That's why more people are noticing, because it is freaking nutso. But part of it, they're saying, is to destabilize the country, to make people lose their minds and kill themselves. And I was like, I guess I mean, it's messed up. I think the main thing that they're saying is destabilize the country, which I've never cared about any countries. Like, borders and countries don't make sense to me. They never have. I've actually talked on that a little before. Like, I sort of understand, wanting a gated community and not having like a bunch of outer weirdos that you don't like or want to be around not being a part of your community. Like, that I get, but like the way that all this country stuff works has never really made sense to me. So, but that's a much different kind of a topic and discussion to get into, and I'm not going there here. Anyways, oh yeah, dude, one of the strange things I didn't notice this at first when it was the recent Pam Bondi being questioned about the files and whatever stuff, that there's a big discussion. I don't know if you've seen it, and I don't know what to call it right now, but Pam Bondi being a dummy, responding about the Dow when they're asking her about Epstein stuff and whatever. But where's my oh yeah, they had the victims stand up. They were like, well, the victims, you guys haven't even asked the victims, you know, like any questions or anything like that, apparently. That's the story they're going with, and it could be true, but what got me was like, let's say there was like a group of women, right, that stood up when they were asked like who are the victims, whatever, stand up, and then they asked them a question like, would you testify, and raise your hands or whatever. They all raised their hands, and I didn't notice it right away, but then because they were rewatching the clip and showing it stuff, and then I saw like I don't remember how many people exactly, but let's say 6 out of 8 of them had the same shirt on. Like, they were like this group of people, and I was just like, dude, that alone makes me think bullcrap, and that sucks. But like, come on, really, you're victims, and they're wearing like the same shirt to show that they're victims or something, you know, right? Like, that seems like a clown show to me. Let me see. I did some of my notes are a little more personal, and I don't want to get into it because whatever, just things. Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't think I mentioned the pre-crime thing, right? Yeah. So we have the nobody's really discussing the normalization of the digital ID and the money, you know, all this crazy nonsense stuff, whatever, facial recognition, all that kind of stuff that it has been slowly implementing into everything. But then the pre-crime is also being normalized, and that's on the bottom. That's kind of low tier, right? Like, it's not a public push, but it is a thing. It is a thing that they're like, that's just kind of moving along. Like that's crazy. Like that, and nobody's talking about that. Which again, it hasn't hit the point where more people are going to notice yet, right? You know, the last I remember, I haven't been following it. The last I remember, there was like at least 4 people arrested for pre-crime, and I don't even know if those stories are true, if those people are real, if they but those were MSM stories. These are real things in MSM. These are real things in policy that has been discussed as pre-crime and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, all right. So that's what I'm talking about as far as like the Epstein stuff, which makes it too obvious to me, especially when literally everybody's talking about everybody. Like, I think if I wasn't where I am now, if I was like new to this, right, I'd probably think, oh, cool, awareness, look, everybody sees it. Like, now I'm like, oh, everybody's talking about, that means it's bullcrap, which is messed up. Yeah, so I'm not saying like, I don't know. I just don't know what to believe anymore, man. When everything's a lie, what is the truth? So I can say that there is a history that I went through and could say is true, because there's stuff you can follow like this insanity for a really long time. It goes back many years, and now they're all connected in some way. I've had said this before, where like the dots connect themselves, because I wasn't looking for this one other person. I wasn't looking into this other politician. I was looking at one thing, and then I see, like, while I'm looking at that, I'm looking at a politician or whatever, and next thing I know, here's another politician, and then here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another, and of course the billionaires are all connected too. So that's what happened. I just kept bloop bloop bloop, one person to the next, bloop 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 bloop. They're all freaking in on it, like, or whatever, you know. Anyways, so one of my notes here is that, as much as I hate to say this, where I lost my damn thing, it's best to ignore the politics while knowing you can't trust them. The only reason I say that, I remember when I first found out, or was looking into these things, I was like, you need to know, because but like, it is painful as hell. and I certainly don't want to break somebody else's mind and soul like what I went through. So it's weird to say that, like yeah, it's best to not go deep. I would say I stared into the abyss and often think it killed me. Um, so yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky. I'm part of. Let me see. Da, da, da. Yeah. Oh, part of that note is like there's only darkness and madness in there. I was looking for solutions and I didn't find the solutions that I came across were positive vibes, grow your own food, build your own community, with your neighbors and stuff like that, which makes sense. That all does make sense, but there's no accountability that is involved in that at all. There's no stopping the bad guy. That's not a thing. That's just not the it's just build your parallel communities and get out of the system. And it's just like, okay, that's realistic. Sure, let me just do that. So yeah, of course, and that is something they'll say as well. Yeah, like no, it's not easy. You literally have to change your life, and that would be cool if it were possible. Right? Like if you can do it, get out, get the hell. That's like what I've said about the city. Get out of the city, man. If you can, get a loan, get a mortgage. Get the hell out of the city, man. And I mean like an affordable mortgage. I don't mean go run into some expensive stuff. We're not living in a high end like super. We're in a new apartment basically, but it's much better though. Like as far as the price of the actual apartment, everything else is still way up, like way up. Like the prices on everything is insane, right? It's kind of funny. Anyways, but yeah, it's like that though. Like if you can get out, do it. Don't even wait. Just do it. Like, and I wish I could explain how, right? But if you can, get out. Anyways, let me double check. Yeah, I just it's weird to me. Like it is. It's annoying. It's annoying to see that like I think it would make more sense if all of it was discussed and but it's just how it works. That's how propaganda works. That's how everything in the system works. Is like it's just one story while nobody talks about anything else, even though all that stuff is actually happening. It's like I said, we've seen it, right? We've talked about it. The digital ID, the money thing is just weird to me because that is happening, and I can see the steps and everything going towards the social credit score. It's already kind of a normal thing as far as the internet, like Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that. They have these social credit score systems, right? But what the thing is, it'll end up being like a normal thing for part of your government ID. It's just weird, man, right? Like just the fact that they want to get you everything platform wise on the internet, like to use your government ID, like it's just okay, like it's crazy. But again, it's especially by itself, I wouldn't see it as scary or whatever. But like, okay, it makes sense to use government ID like to prove your age, like that way you keep your kids off of content on the internet that they shouldn't be looking at, stuff like that. Like I'm like duh, that is a big duh. Like I get that, but that's not what it's actually about. It's not the reality. In that case, control. You pay attention to your kids. You watch what your kids are doing on and viewing content wise and stuff. Like I know, like if I was a parent, I wouldn't even want my kid to have a phone for until their teenage years, right? It just they'd have to be 14, I think, and they would bitch and moan all that time, and they would get their hands on them from friends, right? Like they'd probably go try to buy their own phone, but if I found it, they would not keep it until I felt that they would be okay for it. It really depends too, though. It really depends on how I feel about them. As if did I raise them right this whole time, or do I feel like they're mature enough? Do they understand the truth of the lies and the propaganda and the craziness going on? And if that, like that kind of a thing. So I wouldn't just want to let them loose on the internet, right? And that's how I was on the internet when the internet was new. But the internet was different than it is now, for sure. It was definitely more free, but it was crazy. Anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I did just want to say, like, I I don't know, man. It's just weird to me. It does seem like a distraction, even if most of it's true, even if most, but it's we're talking about the same people that are still lying about so many other things. Like they're still liars, man. They're still and I don't know. We'll see, right? We'll see. But if I still think if anything was real as far as them finding out the bad guys and doing these things, people would already be in jail. And not just that, but like the COVID stuff, like come on, man, like MSM has the opposite arguments going now that people had in 2020 that were banned, literally wiped out, YouTube channels deleted, gone for having an opposing view and pointing out stuff, right? Like that happened. That happened. I saw it live. I saw a couple channels just the channel was gone live and they're talking about that stuff. So yeah, no, but here we are, right? So that's another part of like why I'm like, all right, even if, right? It's just like, what am I supposed to do with this, man? So anyways, that I rambled a little too long on that. I would rather be more clear and specific, but I did want to share that this is some bull crap, man. Damn it. Anyways, if you have any opinions, let me know. I will talk to you later. Bye.